I bought this earlier today and I regret it. I bought this stereo, and it was originally in pretty nice shape. It's not now, but we'll get to that in a moment. For $63, the seller wanted $95, which was pretty insane, but they managed to haggle it down to $63. And by that I mean, I told her about $63, and she was like, "I'll accept that," because I just need to go to this thing. It was at the Capitol Flea Market. This thing was pretty nice. It had like the two glass doors on the front of it, and it was much taller. It was meant to be stood on the floor. It had casters and stuff, and the space below the actual stereo portion was for storing records. But two hours. One, we were getting out of the flea market. Ma dropped it down one of the steps, and one of the doors completely shattered. Then once we got out of the car, here I'm trying to push it up the yard. One of the wheels got caught in this thing, and the lower cabinet just collapsed. So I've got this random top half of a cabinet thing here sitting on the sewing machine. With a random glass cover on the top of it. I would take it out of this cabinet piece, but the sides of it are also the sides of the actual stereo. And this thing looks pretty nice, and the cassette decks could be decent. One of them's not that bad, but I'm listening to the crap speakers. But the record player is not exactly the best, and I can't even really use it, but I can tell you now it's not going to be the best. So let's take a look. I do not know what the manufacturer is. The speakers... Frick. The speakers I got with it are not the original ones, but they do work. They're GPX branded, and they have RCA jacks on them. They're non-powered speakers, but if I turn the unit on here, you can see... I'll find the button. Yeah, the speakers did that. There's a hiss. Mute speakers there. The tuner lights up. Up here on the top, if you fold this glass panel out of the way, you have a record player here. This is just your basic auto return turntable. I'll have an auto return there. You won't be able to see it. This is kind of like one V Westlife did a video on called the BSR phonograph. Vintage turntables aren't always better. This is a mechanism designed to mount in place of a BSR mechanism. That's just a single place thing, plastic platter with no mat. It is mounted on springs, but it's the most secure. It's a 2-speed thing. You just flip this lever there, and it's between 33 and a third and 45. The way you start it is you just unclip the tuner arm, lift lever, and just move it over, and let's just go in there with a slight squeak. Just pop it back down on the clip, clip it in place. There was a 45 adapter, but it's now down in the machine somewhere because if you know these mechanisms, got these two security screws, screws that you pull out whenever you're moving the thing, and they have little clips on the bottom. They need to be folded out, and this one isn't folded out, so you can actually just lift this whole thing, this whole not just the platter, but this whole entire mechanism out, and the 45 adapters down in the machine somewhere. I'll take that out later on. Also, well, I did have the stylus protector in place. The stylus that was on this cartridge was completely shot. The seller told me that, so I'm not even going to try to play any records, but I already chopped the stylus out. Here's a nice little finger grip here. You might see two little flathead screws there. I actually stripped one of them out because it's just plastic. So to make it look like it takes a half-inch mount cartridge, but it doesn't. So I'm guessing it's just your basic CZ800 derivative cartridge, but I can't test it out, and frankly I don't want to. I've got an LP60 up at the house. My mother's house. This unit has these two buttons here. They don't seem to do anything, and this one here is actually loose. Your volume slider. You got a balance control, 5-band equalizer, recording levels for the tape decks. Well, the tape deck, excuse me. One of the decks records, it doesn't. Got switches there for phono, which I'll prove that it's phono because the moment I move the tone arm from the wrist, maybe it doesn't. AM radio, FM radio, neither one of which are working right now because I do not have an antenna attached. Got tape and line/CD player. This thing does not have a CD player. The CD player switch there is intended for if you plug one in through the RCA inputs on the back of it. These 1/4-inch jacks here on the front, I don't know what I'm guessing they're left and right mic inputs and a stereo headphone jack or something. Here, this is deck A. This is your recording deck, and the door is a little loose on the left side. Does not support, so there's not a switch for metal tapes or anything like that. There's no sensors. Also, this deck has an issue where, listen there, stop and I'll hit play again. That motor is just spinning. If I hit fast forward, I'll try to move the fast forward reel, and it does move it. But the problem is the belt is just slipping, because if I hit play, it'll keep on going here. But if there's any drag up against it, like say from a tape, then it'll just grind to a halt. You've got buttons here for a couple of different things, like a low pass filter and stuff like that. Got a tape counter, return to 0 button. You've got your hot switches for your 2 channels. And over here is deck B, which does not have record. This now is a button for synchro dubbing, which I would test out. I don't have a. I've got a spare tape, but it's somewhere, and deck A doesn't really work. Deck B does work. I've got tape in here. Yeah, it took a little moment to get up to speed there. Let me set this back to a flat EQ. Yeah, it doesn't really sound the best with these speakers. And it is running the tape a tad too slow. Let me turn the bass down there a bit. We're gonna have the bass isn't overpowering everything. These speakers are crap because they've got a... Oof. Because I didn't push the button in quick enough, but they've got fake tweeters. They're not even little piezo tweeters, they're just hard plastic. I'll pop the cover off of this one and you can see here. So many clips, GPX. Oh, excuse me. Put your actual woofer there. Put your tweeter up here. Hard plastic. So, yeah, I don't know if this system itself is from GPX. I don't think so. Because GPX equipment isn't even this nice. The tape deck could be good if I hook it up to some external speakers, but the problem is... Wait a second. I've got an RCA aux adapter. Well, cable, excuse me. So I can use that and hook it up to my Pro Medias, and we can see how it really sounds, but... And I need to find a cord to strip for the FM antenna on this thing, and or the AM antenna for my Bearcat scanner, but fine. I'll call it there. Fast forward works. It's a little slow. Rewind works. Fairly quiet. Flip the tape over. The door takes a hot second to come out, but flip the tape. Why is it running so much slower on this side? Oh, I think it's because it's pulling against the weight of the tape or something more on that side, because it's spinning the heavier reel. Also, I like how you can actually see the... I don't know if it'll be in focus, I can't see, but down in the door there you can feel there's actually the mechanical buttons. Down, well, you can actually see them down on the base of the door. Let me try. That's where this tape is, how much slower it gets, because... I'm probably going to replace the belts on this thing just because I don't want to feel like I got scammed. Because I spent $63 on this freaking thing. It was too much, but I was desperate for a cassette deck earlier today. Slow forward. need to make sure what happens if I put this tape over the A deck. So I'll eject A, we don't want it to pop out. Stick the tape in. And it just spins. If I hit stop, fast forward. Excuse me. Make sure. I don't have that. I want to get back to speed here. So this is supposed to be a recording deck, but it doesn't on this machine. If I pop it back over to deck B, let's see here. Effects. It's a bass boost. I know what that one does. Either one of those two. So it's how crappy I can get this thing to sound. Whenever I was little and I had like a Sony boombox from like 1990, I had a shot tape deck, shot CD player, so the only thing it worked on was the radio and the line inputs on the back. I actually liked my EQ to sound like this because I was like 7. Nowadays I prefer either a more flat sound or something where I reduce the mid-range to tad. I'm a little more into that. Although in these speakers, I'm going to cut the bass as much as I can on these things because they're not good speakers. If I switch over to radio. Oh. We might have radio. We'll go back through the dial. Oops, I went the wrong way. I'm sure it'd be much better if I had an antenna, but nice. Alright. I like how they turn on synchro dubbing. Hang on. How does synchro... Hang on. I'm trying to experiment here. Synchro dubbing is now on. If I put in the deck A, and honestly, maybe it would divert some of the power from deck B over to A, but now the bells are still slipping. Because I guess these things don't use a common drive. But, yeah. I get a lot more radio stations around here, so my scanner will test too. Pop station from Huntington trying to come in.
Today's V100. Distance Utilities medication. That's 800. Plan down to Raleigh. Monday night.
Okay. RCA to 1/8 inch. I'm gonna switch off the stereo. I'm gonna unplug it as well because there's 2 fuses on the back, and well, I'm sure they're running for the audio channels. I was replacing with like a 3 amp fuse only. I'm still gonna take my precautions, and just in case there are power fuses for the AC lines. Just gonna unhook the 2 speakers I got with the unit. I'm gonna give you my RCA cable. Switch. Run this into the input of my speakers, and the problem is this is going to be outputting speaker level, whereas this is a line level input with like a +5 decibel boost because it's intended for lower output level devices like smartphones. Plug the stereo back in. I'm gonna have to be careful with the levels here. Let's see here. I'll turn on the stereo. I'll put play on the tape so I can get it decent. 1 channel. I'm gonna see which RCA jack is. I'm putting something flip over the tape. I'm sure if I were to unhook my VCR, bring it over here, it would work fine. Just switch off the power of the stereo. Unplug it and plug back in the GPX speakers that it came with. Well, maybe one of the fuses is bad. The fuse for the other channel. There's the 2 RCA cables. Audio is still going, so I'm just gonna. And I'd try to take audio from one of the quarter inch. Let me guess, it's New Hampshire. But power and play. Yeah, volume knob's a little scratchy. Flip tape over to the A side. It's okay. This unit has not seen the best of days, and its worst day was today. It needs its belts replaced, heads cleaned. And a decent set of speakers that don't just seem to want to output. Break off. Oh. Also, this thing does not have auto stop, but I'm gonna rewind the tape. See you in the next one.